Coming in 2017. There are a ton of podcasts here on Nerdy Pizza, but only one needs rebooted. NerdCast Reloaded. Starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Aaron Little and Bill Hader as Ben Dotson. It'll be dark, it'll be gritty, and it'll be probably more funny than the one you're about to hear. Coming August 2017. So you just heard, apparently we're getting rebooted already. We've only done one podcast. Aaron, you're in charge of this. Why are we getting rebooted?
I don't know. It was your idea.
You ruined the joke. All right.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I said it was your idea to reboot.
It was it?
That's what you said.
All right, yeah.
You're the one who rewrites the reboot.
We actually got to no, I'm kidding. All right. Welcome back to NerdCast, everyone. As we can see, as you can't see anything, you're just looking at some pictures. I don't know what of yet. I'm guessing that's what we're
just the logo I'm gonna make, because the last logo I made was awful.
For NerdCast?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a terrible job the last time, and I apologize, everyone.
So, we're getting a new logo. I'm excited for you guys to see it, and excited to see what it will actually be once this comes out. But today, as I hope you guys kind of assumed, we're going to talk about reboots and remakes.
Yes, we are. Oh, and by the way, just as a thing, there are other people here, so if you hear background noises and things, I'm sorry about that. And if we get interrupted, I apologize as well. We are doing, this episode is about reboots and remakes.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about. So Ben, are reboots necessary?
Oh, as a big superhero fan, I want to say no. And the reason being, in 15 years, that's right everyone, 15 years, only 15 years, we've had 3 Spider-Man. We've also had, in 12 years, 2 Batman. Because they've both been rebooted already. I know they're beloved superheroes. But when the last Batman was the Dark Knight trilogy, he didn't need rebooted anytime soon. That was a beloved franchise and it was good. Spider-Man, they've never really gotten right. So I agree, Spider-Man 2 was amazing way back in the day, but they're still working on it. So
I have an attachment to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, so back off.
What?
I have a weird attachment to the first 3 Spider-Man movies Sam Raimi did.
Oh, well, no,
back off.
I love the first 2. We don't talk about number 3.
The third one's bad, but
yes, we don't talk about number 3.
I still like it, even though it's bad.
Yeah, I love the first 2. It just, in my opinion, they never got the character fully right.
Well, I can't.
It's a comic book thing, so we're not talking about comic books. We're talking about it's a reboots.
I was rolling my eyes because my mom's.
Oh well.
Sorry, everyone.
It's fine.
I told her we were recording too.
Yeah. But back to my arguments. There's been tons of bad remakes.
You didn't answer the question though.
But are reboots necessary? I said no. I actually, it depends on what we're rebooting. I guess. Because as a superhero fan, I would say no, most reboots are not necessary because most of the time we've only seen that character once or twice on screen.
Let me tell you this. What you said about the Spider-Man movies and how many we've had. The new Homecoming, which is looking to be awesome, wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been rebooted. It wouldn't have been the same thing.
Okay. Alright. In my honest opinion, I never thought Homecoming was ever going to happen because we finally have Spider-Man back home at Marvel.
Kind of.
Yes, we got technical to Sony's being...
Yeah, they just want to keep money.
I know, but I want Spider-Man all to the Avengers and stuff because Spider-Man needs to be there. But let me get into other remakes and reboots besides superheroes, which I understand your point. There have been other remakes and reboots, which we will get. We have a list later in the podcast of bad reboots and bad and good reboots and remakes that we believe are good. There's just been some that are franchises that should have stayed dead and buried.
Some weren't even franchises, just single.
Well, yeah, some weren't. Some were beloved cartoon classics that.
But some of them that have been rebooted are well, I guess that's later on, but are good. I haven't seen. That's why I didn't put it on the list. But I haven't seen the Scarface movie with crap. Why do I not know his name?
Al Pacino.
Yeah, Al Pacino. That was a reboot or a remake.
Probably one of the first
of the black and white Scarface, and like I said, I can't put it in my list because I haven't seen it. But I mean, ask anybody.
Yeah, it's a great movie. One of the most quoted movies of all time. Probably, I have not seen it either. That's probably one we need to put on our list, Aaron.
Reboots. I mean, they're not necessary, but they can have a positive effect.
Yes. I think my point being, I think a lot of reboots and remakes hurt the original movies, especially with their beloved classics. And we'll get into probably more of that argument when we talk about bad reboots and good reboots.
Does that change the original though?
I think it hurts it.
How?
Let me pick one that's not on my list. So, I have to think. I'll talk about Man of Steel because it's not on my list. It's a weird one because I don't really like Superman that much.
Neither do I.
Yeah, but I've seen the original Superman movie. I've seen Man of Steel.
Well, there's been several.
There's technically only been 2 series. All right,
fair enough.
So we're doing Man of Steel and Superman. Superman does not hold up well. The original. It's a very 1970s movie, very hokey and cheesy, and very much a precursor to the modern day superhero movie. Mm-hmm. So it's a decent movie. Christopher Reeve is Superman. Mm-hmm. Then we have Man of Steel, which is Zack Snyder explosion fest that kind of gets personal with Superman, but doesn't, and just kind of bad. And I know there's a homage to Christopher Reeve in the movie, and like. But I know what your question is. I know. Okay. I'm getting there. Maybe I picked a bad example, but I think Man of Steel does hurt. It tarnishes Superman, I think. That's in my opinion, because he does kill in the movie. Like, it tarnishes the idea of Superman and tarnishes those movies, and that's like, oh, now we.
But how does it affect the original?
All right, just go on.
I'm curious.
I don't know how to answer that question. That was not a question that I thought was going to come up. I don't know.
I'm just saying, it doesn't have to hurt the original.
It doesn't have to, but
in any movie, it doesn't.
It doesn't have to, but it sometimes tarnishes. Which I'll talk about it later, because one of mine I think ruined a franchise. Okay.
Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, I want to hear Aaron's thoughts. Kind of being maybe a devil's advocate, but maybe not. So I want to hear.
Oh, about our reboots necessary.
Yes, are reboots necessary?
I don't think they're necessary, but I don't think they all the time hurt a franchise or hurt the original movie, like you said. I don't think that it does, because why do people love the original for the original? I said, that's not a very good way to put it. How does it change people's opinions of it? Doesn't. I mean, it can be looked at as its own movie, separate from the original, even though it's a remake and reboot. It's a different vision, but it doesn't mean it's a different. It doesn't mean it's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same movie.
I get it. All right.
So no, they're not necessary, but I don't think. I mean, even the bad ones, I don't think that's going to ruin. I don't think it ruins it.
Okay.
It might ruin. It might. I can kind of see where it would, in the social eye, how people can say watch the Superman or Man of Steel, and then that kind of puts a negative vibe out there for like the people who are watching it now, the modern audience.
Yeah.
But for the people who watch the original Superman, doesn't have to hurt them. It doesn't change the way they think about Superman.
Yeah. I think also part of me that want to say no is because original movies are dying. We are in a culture of Hollywood just taking anything and everything of comic books, TV shows, cartoons.
We'll get to the original thing at the end.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm saying this is part of my reboot argument, is that original movies are being pushed to the side for adaptations, reboots, remakes.
Adaptations are different, though.
I know, but kind of they're in that culture of remakes, reboots, sequels.
An adaptation is just another person's vision.
I know.
So they can have their own original ideas in it.
Stop.
No.
No, but what? I'm not saying that adaptations are bad. I'm not even saying reboots are bad. I just don't think they're necessary. I think they're pushing really good original movies out of studios' eyes, which kind of why we have indie films today is because that's where original movies come from. But anyway, it just we don't need. This is getting more in the sequel, so I'm gonna stop now. But I don't think we need to reboot or remake so many movies. I think we just need to move on to new idea, something new. We got some bad reboots coming.
Coming mean that's already happened.
Well,
did you solely focus on things that were coming, or that?
No, that are they're coming up right now of what we're gonna say.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
All right, so you want me to start again?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. First one.
Avatar doesn't count.
I know. All right. For those, since it didn't record, I have opinions that Avatar is just a remake of Pocahontas and Last of Mohicans with blue aliens, and Aaron said it didn't count, so.
Shot him down. All
right, but my first one is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is the 2005. This is the Johnny Depp version.
I already know.
Yeah, well, I'm just letting the viewers know, because they don't know that. Some people don't know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one was, even when I was a kid, how old was I? Alright, it is 2017. I am 23.
Did you name when it came out? Did you give the year?
2005, 13. I would be 11. 11 when it came out. Okay. Even when I was 11, and I was not the movie connoisseur that I am now.
Oh, you're a movie connoisseur
I
now.
guess. I don't know. That's why we're talking about movies, aren't we?
Sure.
This movie was weird. It was just weird. I know it's Tim Burton and all, and he's just a weird director in general. Mm-hmm. I just felt weird going out of this movie. It didn't ruin the legacy of Willy Wonka because now I definitely see them as two separate movies of two very different eras. One in the 70s and one in the 2000s. It's just weird and just doesn't... I liked what Willy Wonka did, and it was good. The 70s version. I don't know. It was just weird. I didn't like it. I don't like it now. I watched it recently. I don't like it.
I like it.
Anymore.
I like that movie.
Okay. That's okay. We had different opinions. Why don't you go with your first one? We can just go back and forth.
Godzilla, 1998. Matthew Broderick.
I haven't seen that movie.
It's a god-awful movie. It's bad. It's a cheese fest, and I liked it when I first saw it, but I went through a phase where I liked every movie I saw.
Same.
It's different now. It's a bad movie. It's a bad not adaptation. It's a remake.
Yeah.
Of Godzilla. It's terrible. Just I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Not one of Matthew Broderick's finest moments.
When was Matthew Broderick have a finest moment?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay. That was 14 years before that.
Doesn't matter. He's had good movies.
He did Lion King.
I like Matthew Broderick.
Okay.
Back off. I like Tower Heist. Okay. He was in it.
Okay, yeah, that one was actually... I actually like that one, too.
All right. Go.
My second one is Cat in a Hat. That was during a period. That was when Shrek came out. And they were casting Mike Myers to do a lot of stuff. And... I think I watched it recently. Or at least I watched something on it. It's another weird movie now. Like, for me, I liked it as a kid, but it's not funny. It's very forced humor. And it's a realization that Mike Myers is not a good actor. In almost anything except for Shrek. And that's just his voice. Besides Wayne's World. Wayne's World was before, but like...
Besides Shrek, Wayne's World, and Cat in the Hat, what have you seen him in?
Last Guru, Austin Powers. Every Austin Powers.
Okay.
Which Austin Powers was good, but that was very Mike Myers-y.
Okay. What about Cat in the Hat made you think he's a bad actor?
He would just... The way his humor is in that movie is very adult. Which I get kids' movies doing adult jokes. I get that. I think it's funny. Because there was stuff I laughed at in a lot of movies as a kid and I did not understand. Now I understand. I was like, oh, that's even more funny. He was just kind of... He was creepy and kind of like manic and just... Not a good Cat in a Hat, like, I guess. Like, I'm going off of the original cartoon here. The Cat in a Hat was just kind of... He wasn't this manic, crazy person. He was just kind of cool, collective. He knew what he was doing. But he wasn't crazy and didn't act crazy. He just did weird stuff.
I agree with you about it. I haven't seen it in a while, so I can't just, but I can't say that Mike Myers is a bad actor based on one movie that he's done.
Okay, that's fair.
He made a choice and it wasn't a good choice. But there was one part in that movie I found particularly hysterical.
What?
I think you know which one it is. Where he's so he's hanging from the tree, acting like he's a. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that part's hilarious.
The little kid hits him right in the nuts. It cuts to a scene. Oh man.
That part's funny.
Yeah,
that part is really funny.
See?
Anyway. Yeah, that's true. We can't say it based on one movie, but it's just...
I won't say that he's a bad actor based on
that movie. I'll...
Because even some of our best actors out there have had bad moments.
Oh, yeah, they have. But let's go to your next pick.
Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Another Tim Burton movie.
I like Tim Burton, but I don't like Planet of the Apes.
I didn't either.
It's just bad.
Yeah, there's nothing really redeemable about that movie.
Yeah, it was just bad.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say about that. It was just bad.
Yeah. My next one is Terminator Salvation.
Haven't seen it.
I don't know if many people have. It's a very forgettable movie. It's technically the fourth in the Terminator franchise, but it was a reboot because it was set in the future and trying to do stuff in the future about John Connor. And the Terminator movies just get more complicated. Anyway, Christian Bale was in this movie, and it's pretty bad when the most famous thing about this movie is that Christian Bale had a big rant, a very expletive...
A meltdown.
A meltdown is probably a better term. During this movie, the filming of this movie, and it got released.
He apologized, by the way.
He did. I still respect Christian Bale as an actor. But it was very much... It's very forgettable. I don't even remember the plot or anything. It's just a forgettable movie. And that's...
Did you see it? No, I'm just kidding.
I did.
That was a joke. It was so forgettable, I didn't even see it.
I know. Yes, but it's just very forgettable and almost killed the Terminator franchise, which we have two very good movies.
I haven't seen one Terminator movie.
I've technically only seen two.
All right.
And that's Terminator 2 and Terminator 4.
Gotcha.
But yes, it's just very forgettable. Terminator's on my list that I need to see, so I will throw it back to Aaron for his third pick.
Predators. It was a terrible, 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 terrible movie. As Ben said earlier, it's very forgettable. Oh, wait. Oh, well, so we had a technical issue, and on my list, I put the Green Lantern, and Ben was quick to point out that was not a remake or a reboot. It was the first adaptation onto film. So, fuck you, Ben. Whatever. I'm skipping to Predators. Predators is an awful movie. It has that guy that I can't remember his name, but he has a huge nose, but he's a good actor. He's just, he was in King Kong.
Which one?
The newest one. The Peter Jackson one, which is a good movie, so back off.
That's not the newest one.
Come closer.
Not the newest King Kong.
The most recent one that I have seen. How about that?
I have not seen that movie, so that doesn't help me.
Anyway, they give... I can't remember his name, but I'm going to look that up. You go on to your next one.
Alright. We'll get back to Predators, but we're going to talk about an M. Night Shyamalan classic right now. It is The Last Airbender. I love the cartoon series. I love it. It was amazing. And it's amazing that it was a North American anime. And when they announced they're making a live action movie, I was just like, good. It deserved it. It was a good cartoon and could be made into...
I haven't seen either.
It's fine.
Gotcha.
It could be made into a movie. And then they announced a director. And it was at the point where I knew who this guy was. And I've seen a couple of his movies. And he's bad. He's coming back now. He's doing good movies now. From what I've heard.
Split was very good.
Yes. It's... M. Night Shyamalan was... He was not the right choice for this movie. And he like changed how we pronounce the characters' names in the movie.
I heard there was he cast
he cast white people into
right,
Asian roles, and now I'm just like, that's not okay. Even though this is a North American cartoon series, it's very... The characters are Asian. Like, that's fair to say. They, like, changed the pronouncing of the characters' names. It was bad, and I was so upset after I saw this movie.
He was crying when he got out of the theater.
I didn't even go to the theater, so he's wrong.
Just kidding.
I did not pay to see this movie. I saw it on DVD when I got it from the library, so I didn't even buy this movie or rent this movie. I just borrowed the movie. It was bad. Not a good idea.
Good choice to borrow it as opposed to buying it.
Yes. Very good choice. It was just so bad.
Oh, back to Predators though. Adrian Brody is the actor's name.
Adrian Brody. Okay.
In Predators he tried to act really, really tough, and that's not a good role for him. And so it ended up being pretty bad. So Predators was awful. It was just a bad movie. My 9-year-old nephew liked it, but it was dumb story.
Yeah. Last Airbender. Final thoughts on that?
Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, it's fine. But like it adapted stuff from the story, so I can't say that the story was bad. It was just it was also bland acting. The actors that they got.
That's M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, true.
Even in his good movies, there's bad acting.
Yeah.
Split, awful acting. Most of the cast, except the main guy. The main guy was awesome.
Yeah. Luckily, he got relatively no names, I think, for a lot of Last Airbender, so didn't ruin any...
He got some comedians, I believe, actually.
Yes, for very serious parts. I'm pretty sure he got a famous comedian for the bad guy. I'm just like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, anyway, it was just a lot of bad choices. Continued M. Night Shyamalan's tank, but hopefully we're now seeing the rise.
I saw again. Split, and it was good. I didn't see his previous movie, but I heard it was okay. It wasn't a great movie, but it was okay.
It was like The Visit or something. Yeah,
like that.
I've heard good things about that one.
Is that the one where that old lady puts her head in the oven, or she tries to get? I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know that much about it.
I don't remember ever really wanting to watch it, honestly.
No, he does a lot of horror movies that I would
say more thriller, horror, and comedy. The Happening.
Yeah, The Happening is a very funny.
No.
One of Mark Wahlberg's best performances.
I love the Honest trailers for that. So
I haven't
funny.
seen the Honest trailer for that one. I haven't seen The Happening, but I know it's just bad.
You need to watch it because it is bad. And it's funny bad.
It's sad because Zooey Deschanel is in it. I love Zooey.
She's not good in it either.
I know, but she's not a movie actress. She shouldn't be.
An actress is an actress. I think.
I know, but anyway, on to my last.
Oh, your last. Go ahead.
My last one, unless you want to do it, because
it was just go. It's fine.
it's
We're
fine.
good.
My last one was the worst movie of 2015, The Fantastic Four.
I never saw it.
I
thought about putting it on the list, but I hadn't seen it. So
no, don't. This movie was boring.
No, not my viewing list. Continue.
Yeah, this movie was boring. It ruined the legacy of what the Fantastic Four was. It's pretty bad when I can say the original Fantastic Four movies were better than this one, and they were also pretty bad. This movie just was awful. There was just... And I heard there was just trouble with the director and the studio.
The director did a movie that... what was that last
Chronicle.
movie? I never wanted to see that. I think I saw one of his movies at one time. It wasn't that. It was a different one, I think. But I
think he was only done like one movie before Fantastic Four.
I thought he did two. Maybe he only did the
we'll
one.
Have to look.
Maybe
it's Josh Trank, everyone. If you,
I think I did see parts of Chronicle, and I don't like his style.
That was a found footage movie
and I don't
too.
want. Not even just that it was found footage. I don't really have a huge issue with found footage. It was just his style. I didn't like it. It's my watch is telling me to get up and move. Shut up.
But it was like there was bland acting, and there's amazing actors in this movie. Miles Teller, he just came off of Whiplash before this movie, and I loved Whiplash. He was bad. He played the main part. Did it stop?
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Like I said, let me worry about this stuff.
All right.
You worry about that.
Miles Teller was Reed Richards, and he was just bland. He was just dumb as a character. Michael B. Jordan was the Human Torch. That was a good part. He's the only good part I would say. He's perfect. He was in Creed.
He's dreamy. I'm just kidding.
He's Creed, and he is going to be in the new Black Panther movie. He's an amazing actor. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he now just to have Fantastic Four on his resume. But luckily, he will hopefully redeem himself. He already has. He redeemed himself a couple months later in Creed. So it was just
the black guy.
Got it. Yeah. It was just a lot of just
Captain America was the Torch.
Yeah.
In the original.
I'd still say he's better.
I was just saying.
I'd still say he's better Human Torch, but he was a Human Torch in a better movie. So, the villain was dumb. Everything about this movie was just god awful. Like, it was honestly one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So, let's give him his last one, and we'll get into some good movies.
Independence Day 2. I think it's what's it called? Independence Day Resurgence. I didn't go out and see this movie. Even though I was working at the theater at the time, I could have, and it could have been free. Yeah.
So that's what you just.
I bought the special, like the 4K Blu-ray, which was $30 because
you spent $30 on that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen either Independence Day, which is a bad.
The first one's good.
I know the first one's good. It's
first one's cheesy but good.
It's on my list. But
anyway, this one. Okay, so it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It was okay. There were parts that were okay, but it was just they tried to work in different like they brought the doctor back from the first one that clearly died in the first one, but apparently he was unconscious or whatever, which was goofy. I don't know. They tried to do everything like in the first one, but more epic. And the problem with that is we've seen all that already with full destruction. Man of Steel, you mentioned earlier. Like it's not interesting anymore. And they didn't go. It wasn't good. My dad liked it though.
Yeah. Anyway, so now that we've gone through the bad movies, let's get into some good ones. Aaron, why don't you start us off?
The Jungle Book.
That is actually on my list too.
I love that movie.
It's It is fantastic, and
Have you seen it?
yes, I love
I thought
it.
you said it's on your list by...
Like, it's on my good list.
Good.
Yeah, you're hitting on one of mine. So, Jon Favreau just
He's a good director.
he killed it. He killed it with this movie, and I'm glad he's doing Lion King, a live action Lion King now,
Yeah, I heard
because of Jungle Book.
I hope that has the same outcome, because
it's beautiful.
The Jungle Book was awesome.
It was beautiful.
It was really good.
So I'll go to my first movie, 21 Jump Street.
There you go.
Yeah. So this took a relatively obscure TV series and made it into one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
I like how meta they are.
Yes, it's very meta. It was just... Well, in the second one, they get really meta.
Mm-hmm.
But
Explain what meta is to them.
meta is basically referencing the real world. It's essentially, think Deadpool. Deadpool does that a lot. Because Deadpool said jokes about how he was Ryan Reynolds, basically.
Yeah.
21 Jump Street took one star that was kind of an action star, Channing Tatum, and Jonah Hill, it's now thin Jonah Hill. We can't talk about fat Jonah Hill anymore.
He's gained some weight since then. But
yeah,
continue.
but it's funny. It's just fantastic, and it kind of continued the 21 Jump Street legacy too.
I like in the end of the second one where they have all the teasers for the movie.
It was just
funny. They're good movies.
It's a good movie. It's just very funny, and I don't like very vulgar humor. I don't like this new comedy zone. That's one movie I loved. It was fantastic. It was awesome.
They're funny. You good?
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
I like your choice.
It's a fantastic movie. I love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I don't care what anybody says about the last one. I love the last one too.
Oh,
I don't care what anybody says.
Not the most perfect trilogy, but it's very near perfect. Batman Begins was awesome.
Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors, so it only makes sense that I would put Batman Begins on there. Batman Begins is a very good movie.
Yeah,
it's a very good. It was a very. He took a very different step. Well, not. I guess Tim Burton did the darker tone, but not Tim Burton. Yeah, it was Tim Burton.
No, Nolan did. Nolan took a way darker.
No, I know. I was getting to that. I was just saying.
Yeah.
Tim Burton did it first, but Christopher Nolan did it a lot darker. It was just I don't know. It was a good movie.
And it's actually I love Batman Begins, and it's the one that everyone forgets. It's like it's not like the odd child of the Nolan trilogy.
Well, everyone talks about The Dark Knight.
Well, everyone talks about Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
I mean, it's justifiably they talk about The Dark Knight, because The Dark Knight's a very good movie.
Yeah,
but you're right though.
But yeah, doesn't get talked about that often, but
Not nearly enough.
Yeah, a great pick. I'm gonna go with a semi-reboot sequel of X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Never seen it.
I've
seen one X-Men movie and Deadpool.
Okay, all right. But what Days of Future Past did was recognize every movie that was in the franchise, and then effectively got rid of the two worst ones and put the newest series on a path, on a new path. Mm-hmm. So you could have put First Class on there, but we didn't know that this was going to be like a franchise I thought this was just going to be the stories before the X-Men movies. Mm-hmm. So it's very semi-sequel reboot, and it was very good and just fits what X-Men had bad. So I liked it.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
That's my next one too.
It's a good movie. I want to see the other two. I haven't seen the newer ones.
Same. The newest one isn't out yet, but
they even took an actor that I think is a bad actor, but I like him. He's funny. He can be good funny, but James Franco.
Oh yeah,
he's not a good actor. Can we be honest right now? You seen the interview? He's really it's really funny.
I haven't seen a lot
it's
of
really
James
funny, but he overacts the crap out of everything.
That movie's supposed to be overacted. That's
okay. All right.
Anyway.
Spider-Man 3, he was awful.
Okay. All right.
Spider-Man 2, he was bad in. Spider-Man, he was bad in.
Yes,
he's a bad actor. He's funny and he's good in his funny roles, but I saw the show on Hulu that he did. He's just a bad actor. He is.
All right.
But
I I forgot he was in the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
So,
but but Rise of the Planet of the Apes is a very good reboot.
Yes,
and it's led to people say the second one's better than the first one.
Better?
Yeah, Dawn.
Yeah, okay.
Of the Planet of the Apes.
I thought you said batter. I was just like, no, it's better. So okay.
Yeah, it's better.
My thoughts on it. I think this is amazing. Is that they took Planet of the Apes, which, in my opinion, that's always been like the dark child of sci-fi because I've always thought it cheesy. Like for some.
Not then.
Well, not to the 60s, not to the people that first saw Planet of the Apes, but like I've always.
Pretty sure it came out in the 70s, but continue.
60s, 70s.
I'm gonna look.
Yeah. But I've always thought it was cheesy. I was just like, I don't want to see this movie. Like, it just looks weird. It took a concept that was cheesy, in my opinion, and made it good. It made it incredible.
I wouldn't say good. I'd say realistic. Because a lot of people like the original Planet of the Apes. And I'm not going to dog it because I haven't seen it.
Well, I'm not...
And because we are of a different generation.
True. And that's the thing. Now it's changing my opinion of that.
68, you're right.
Yes.
Late 60s.
But now it's changing my opinion of Planet of the Apes. I want to go back and see the original movie. Especially because I've seen the Tim Burton one, too. It's bad.
Yeah, that's funny.
But this movie changed my opinion
That's
about...
funny. I didn't even realize I put the bad reboot on my bad list and the good one on my good list.
But it just... I think it changed my opinion about Planet of the Apes. And it's like, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing the originals. And I have not yet, but I'm going to. Mm-hmm. After I see the Dawn that is sitting on my shelf right now. I need to see it. So... That's enough about that. And we're very like-minded today.
Mm-hmm. Do you have another one?
And you have...
I just said mine. You said it's on yours.
Oh, it is on mine.
Yeah, you just said that's on mine too.
Which I'm now looking. The next one is on both of ours too. It's Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah. J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams. This is another one that changed my opinion on a franchise. Because I was not a Star Trek fan. Before this movie. I went and saw it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I've not seen any of the original stuff.
I think some of these, and by saying that these are good reboots, we're not saying that the first ones are bad, or these are even better. That's not my point here, because we haven't seen a lot of the originals.
No.
I mean, I saw Jungle Book,
but
my point is that we're not saying that they're better, and we're not saying that the first ones are bad. We're just saying that these reboots, because they are reboots, are good.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We needed to clarify that.
Yeah.
We're not dogging on any of the originals or anything. I dogged on a little bit about the X-Men originals, just because 2 movies are bad, and they got rid of those 2 movies.
You even said for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it makes you want to go back and watch the originals.
Yes.
So this is almost this is good.
Yeah.
Maybe people listening will want to go back and see the originals as well.
Yeah. Back to Star Trek. J.J. Abrams just...
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
He effectively cast every single role, and it was amazing. Rest in peace to the guy that plays Anton Chekhov. I forget his name.
Oh, a guy got ran over by his own car.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened.
I know. He was good. I'm trying to think of his name.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, because I want to
honor him effectively.
But this was it. Now I will say the first J.J. Abrams movie, it felt like Star Wars. A little bit. I'm not saying it was Star Wars. It felt like it. But it worked. It changed the franchise, gave us a renewed interest in Star Trek. A series that hasn't had a lot before 2009.
As far as releases.
In the 2000s. In the 2000s, there wasn't a lot. At least what I know of. But now we've had 3 Star Trek movies. Thank you. Oh, his first name is... I think I combined his character name and his first name. So it's Anton Yelchin. He just died recently, right after the release of Star.
He died June 19th, 2016.
Right before Star Trek Beyond came out. So
it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. I think all three are great reboots.
I know some Star Trek fans that they don't agree with you.
Well, that's okay.
But guess what?
We liked them.
Yeah.
We liked them. So,
true.
What are your thoughts on Star Trek since you have it too?
I just thought it was a fantastic movie. It was exciting, and it brought Star Trek into a modern, to a modern audience.
Yes.
And people like it, and it may not be as big as Star Wars is now. Right now, in the modern eye, it's still, and Star Trek Beyond actually I think was successful.
Yes. Oh.
So I mean, it's bringing an old beloved. This is what reboots can do.
Yes.
This is a good example of what reboots can do.
Yeah.
They can bring something that's old, an old franchise, and bring it to the modern eye. Which I didn't even mention Star Wars I think the new Star Wars 7 at least was really good. And
but that's a sequel.
Yeah, that's true. You're right, but
that's why I don't count it.
It can be argued as a reboot of 4.
Yes,
but I don't care because it's a good
yes,
movie.
Yes, it's a good movie.
But my point still stands. There.
Yes, it brought Star Trek to a more modern audience.
It did, and
effectively.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what reboots can do.
Mm-hmm. All right,
so you ran out of stuff.
I did, because I had 3. We had 3 of the same ones. Which is great, because these were all 3 very good movies. So what is your last one?
This one's a little obscure. True Grit.
I've seen that one, actually.
It's a good movie.
I did. It is.
The Coen brothers.
Yeah.
It's been said it's probably their most Hollywood-esque movie.
I would agree with that.
Compared to all their other movies. Still a very well-done movie, and I really like Jeff Bridges. So he's a good actor. He's on my top list of actors, so... I just thought it was it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Exciting, like I said, with Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I wonder what people who like Glenn Byer would say. I wonder if they would say...
Well, I've seen the original, too. I haven't
seen the original.
I've seen the original before. And both, it was pretty effective. It was what I would call a shot-for-shot remake. But probably more violent.
Remake. It's a remake. Continue.
A little bit more violent than the original, since the original came back in the 60s, 70s era. But it was still, both movies, I think, stand the test of time. I think someone got nominated for the new True Grit anyway. Because I know John Wayne got nominated for the last one. For his original True Grit. But
this one came out in 2010.
Yeah.
It had 149 nominations. 37 more wins, it says.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so it was still beloved, even though it was a remake of a beloved movie. Yes.
It was a good movie, I thought.
Yeah.
All right, well, there goes our list there.
Yeah. And since...
we talked about Star Wars. We
Yes.
talked about Star Wars 7 being a sequel.
Yeah.
There was an original Star Wars movie that just came out recently.
Yes.
Why am I blanking on the name?
Rogue One.
I was doing so well until
Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One.
It's actually right below Empire for me in Star Wars.
Rogue One was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was an original story. And I really liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings up, since we're talking about original movies now, besides that one, what in the past, we'll say 10 years, bring up some original movies, or maybe 5. It doesn't matter. Just
I
bring
brought
up some. 2. I didn't even write anything down.
So these are the best original movies we've seen recently. One I've seen really recently, I mentioned it in the last podcast, Get Out.
No, it's my room.
Get Out is an original story by Jordan Peele, a comedy director, and he did a horror movie. Now, if anyone knows me, I'm not a horror fan. I don't like horror movies. I don't like blood. I don't like to be scared. I don't.
This is true.
I would actually say it's more of a thriller, but it's borderline thriller horror.
It looked more thriller-esque to me than horror.
It got horror in it.
It got horror.
It got horror.
It got real horror.
It did get scary in the
haven't
movie.
seen it.
Yeah. But it was fantastic. It was a great directorial debut for Jordan Peele. I'm excited to see where his career goes now. Very much just took something that he thought kind of happened to him and then veered off, made it something different. But it was just good. Like, it was just a good movie, and it messed up my mind. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything because it was good. Just awesome movie. Very proud of Jordan Peele, and great original movie, and I hope it does get nominated because it was universally loved by the critics.
I gotcha. You go next time. I have to find one.
Okay.
I haven't looked.
And, which I'm glad I looked. My next one is a movie that came out in 2012, and it's called Looper.
I heard good things about it.
Yes. Looper is Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis, and this is Rian Johnson's as the director, and he is the one that is directing Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So this was kind of his.
Good, doesn't it? By the way.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That trailer looked amazing.
Oh, we can talk about it next time.
Yeah.
But this was kind of his foray into sci-fi in a time travel movie, and time travel is a thing in movies that has been done over and over and over again. I think
that little
three of the movies that we've talked about today, three of the movies I've talked about, included time travel in it. Terminator, Days of Future Past, and Star Trek. It's a concept that's worn and weary, but Rian Johnson did it in a different way, a more personal way, looked at the characters instead of the time travel itself, and it was just good. Bruce Willis actually cared in the movie, so it was actually good. Bruce Willis has a tend to not care in more recent movies.
Kevin Smith.
What?
Just ask Kevin Smith.
Yeah, just ask Kevin Smith. Even though I like Cop Out, it's a bad movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Bruce Willis did not care. Bruce Willis actually cared. It was a good script. It was just...
Cared in Looper.
Yeah, it was just... Looper was good. Let's...
Inception.
Which your second one will be... I know what other movie you're going to say.
I might go in a different direction with the second one.
Alright.
Don't you worry about it.
Alright.
Inception's a fantastic movie.
It is. Yes. I think I've seen, except for Nolan's beginning movies, I've seen almost all of his.
I actually started watching Memento. I haven't finished it because I had to stop it, but which is not telling you the movie because it was great.
Yeah.
The time when I started watching it, but Inception was fantastic. It was very complicated, but it was still and just because it was complicated, it's still a fantastic movie. All the acting is solid across the board. The story is pretty good. And I do have another one. Hopefully it's not a remake. I don't know yet. But anyway, it's another Leonardo DiCaprio movie. But
all right.
Anyway, Inception was fantastic, and I'm glad to see you agree there, buddy. I have to make sure this is an actual.
What movie is it? I can help you better than the internet, probably.
Hold on there, feller. Hold on there.
I'll
it's a Martin Scorsese movie.
It's
not what you're thinking.
The Departed?
It's not that.
Okay.
Because that is a remake.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
It's I'm pretty sure Shutter Island is not a remake.
It is not.
That scene with him.
I haven't seen it.
There's a scene with him in a lake. That's all I'll say. Holy crap! I cry every time. It's a fantastic movie. One of the best twists I've ever seen in a movie. Did not see it coming at all. Like, it takes you in one direction and it completely oh man, it's a fan. I have it on Blu-ray actually. It's a fantastic movie, and it's great. That's one that was in 2010.
I will throw one to Christopher Nolan. I'm making sure it's not a remake of anything. I think Nolan's movies none of them are.
Yeah, he writes with his brother.
Yeah.
His brother. While you're looking for that, obviously Interstellar is a fantastic movie.
That's what I thought you were going to come up with.
Yeah. Now that I have some time, Interstellar is a really good movie. That one gets me every time too. It seems the older I get, the more susceptible I am to tearing up in movies. What?
Mine is based on something.
What is it though?
The Prestige.
I love that movie.
I love it too, but it's based on something.
What's
so
it
it's
based on?
Book.
That's okay.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
this is kind of like we've thrown it. I think
it doesn't matter. We've talked about original movies. Now we can just move on.
Yeah. All right.
The movies you like.
No.
Just kidding.
I will mention Nolan in general. He hasn't made a bad movie, in my opinion. Like, yes, Dark Knight Rises gets
It's not a bad movie.
crapped on. It's not a bad movie.
Right.
Not even close. Like, it gets crapped on by comic book fans.
I don't care what my cousins say.
It gets crapped on by comic book fans, and I'm tired of them nitpicking on movies. But I'm not going to get into that. Any other original movies before we end?
I think I'm good.
All right.
There's tons, but
there are tons. These are the ones we just thought of. Kind of. So we talked about reboots. We talked about good ones, bad ones. We talked about original movies. Now,
we talked about what bad reboots can do to a franchise and what good reboots are supposed to do. What reboots in general are supposed to do.
Exactly. And I think form your own opinions. Aaron has got me a lot on reading what the critics say and forming your own opinion, which I do.
Yeah, that's a good topic to bring up real quick.
Yes. Because we're talking about movies, don't just believe what the critics say, because there are movies that they're wrong. I'll give a couple.
And you know what though? I'm not even going to say they're wrong. I'm just going to say movies are so subjective.
Yes.
To the person. So you cannot base, even though I know that people, because what Rotten Tomatoes does is it's not one reviewer. It just pulls reviewers from any website anywhere, and they put them all together and make it one. But it's subjective. There's movies that I've liked that have gotten awful reviews.
Batman vs Superman.
I didn't love that movie.
I love that movie.
What ruined it for me was the reason they stopped fighting.
Shut up. Like,
I don't care. That is
the one part I cannot defend. I will say.
Exactly.
I cannot defend, but in all honesty, I love that movie. I unabashedly love that movie. I will defend that movie no matter what.
There's some cool fight scenes in it.
It's amazing. I think it's amazing. I'm excited for what DC does. I also love Suicide Squad. Both of them are good.
I haven't seen Suicide Squad.
And the critics destroyed them, and then that's why I don't think they were as successful as they should have been. Which, actually, Suicide Squad was really freaking successful. I mean,
it's like I opened up a can of worms here.
You kind of did.
Trigger.
You brought Rotten Tomatoes into this, and I hate Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't hate Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not. Anyway, this is a topic for another day.
But there are tons of different reviewers. It's not.
I know. It's a topic for another day because
it's the search engine of critic reviews.
Yes, it is.
So you can't say that it's bad. That's my defense.
Okay, all right. Because I'm not defending it right now because we're getting into.
That's fine.
This is not what we're talking about today.
That's fine.
Anyway, I don't know what our next episode will be or when it will be. It's been a while since our first one.
It's monthly.
It's
been about a month, I guess.
So,
hope you guys enjoyed our last one, or one on the Switch.
Yes.
This podcast is about. We'll just rehash that.
Yeah.
It's about
anything,
any nerd kind of thing.
Any nerdy thing, and actually, since we did video games last time, we did movies this time, and I have a shirt on one of the most original TV shows of the last. Probably a couple years. Stranger Things. So
he's looking at me really weird.
I know, I am. So, I'm kind of deciding for us right now. We're going to talk about TV shows next time. We're going to recommend some. Well, this is an overarching topic. We'll make it more specific once we get there. Yeah. But we'll talk about TV shows next time. Well, because I know you have.
That sounds good to me.
We both have recommendations for TV shows.
I'm liking TV now.
Yeah, I am too. There's tons. I'm excited for what stuff is coming, and very much so. For NerdCast, I am Ben Dotson.
I'm Aaron Little.
See you next time.